Last night I was reading an almost unreadable report from the International Energy Agency. They are the real world authorities, full of jargon and advocacy for renewable energy. But even this mob have said, under a headline, and the headline, "Massive Renewable Heat has gained some policy momentum, but its market share is not set to increase significantly," unquote. That was the heading. It then added, are you listening, Anthony Albanese, Matt Keane, and all you empty-headed advocates? I think Matt Canavan uncharitably called them the other night morons. The International Energy Agency forecasts up to 2026 and says bluntly, quote, "Fossil fuels are set to continue meeting much of the growing global demand for heat," unquote. What are we doing? We've got coal beneath our feet, and mindless ideology is preventing us from taking advantage of the energy resources that have been the source of this country's wealth. At what point do we say enough is enough? Matt Ridley was a former member of the House of Lords, actually Viscount Ridley, Lord Ridley. He is a superb academic, unlike the Keynes of this world and the renewable energy apologists who give the impression that they've read nothing. He was the science editor of The Economist magazine. When all this global warming and renewable energy nonsense was at its peak and the new religion was converting people to its cause, either through their ignorance or intimidation, Ridley wrote, quote, here's a quiz, no conferring. He said, to the nearest whole number, what percentage of the world's energy consumption was supplied by wind and power in 2014, the last year for which there are reliable figures? He said, was it 20%, 10%, or 5%? He answered, none of the above. It was 0%. That is to say, to the nearest whole number, there is still no wind power on Earth, unquote. And he made the point from the International Energy Agency's 2016 key renewable trends, quote, wind provided 0.46% of global energy consumption in 2014, and solar and tide 0.35%, unquote. Now that's total energy provided by wind and solar worldwide, not just electricity, which is less than a fifth of all final energy. But interestingly now, when you read these reports, and the latest I was reading last night, Renewables 2021, they cleverly omit to tell you exactly how much of the energy supply comes from renewables because they're embarrassed by the figures. They keep talking about growth, though they do admit that renewables' share of global heat consumption, their words, is only, I repeat only, forecast to rise from 11% in 2020 to 13% in 2026. So where is the other 87% of our energy needs going to come from? Even this mob, the International Energy Agency, provide the answer. Quote, fossil fuels are set to continue meeting much of the growing global demand for heat. Can we rip up our national economic suicide note immediately? I'll have more to say about the renewable farce tomorrow night.